How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the state of Marvel Strike Force, and if you saw the thumbnail, you already know where my head's at. The game is actually in the best place it's ever been in, ever, in my opinion. That's for continual players, returning players, and even new players. I'm even comparing this against what I consider the golden year of Marvel Strike Force, the Age of Apocalypse. Age of Annihilus is set to kind of unseat that as the best time in the game. Let's talk about why that is. And it's basically the flow state of the game. The game is flowing in such a healthy way right now that you get to kind of just sit back and enjoy the ride. Unlike the Age of Apocalypse, where we didn't know when the next Morgan Le Fay Scourge was going to run, so we didn't know how we were going to unlock her if we missed our first run. We didn't know when the narrative was switching from Morgan Le Fay to Rogue to Red Hulk. In the Age of Annihilus, they've laid it out for us. So we know there are 3 chapters in the Age of Annihilus. We know they each last 3 months. We know there's going to be 3 new legendary characters. We know there's going to be 3 teams per chapter. Boom, done. Takes the guesswork out of it, lets you prepare both mentally and gameplay wise, and you just get to enjoy the ride. And I actually really appreciate that. They have other big quality of life improvements that happened, and I was really hesitant at this at first. I'm a creature of habit. I don't really love change. The command center. This is where we do our new sort of single player events. And the objectives to do these events is so easy. It's so clear, and it comes with really good user changes, user interface changes. So the daily input for this one is just spend campaign energy. Collect these fiery incarnate orbs, which there's multiple places in the game to get it right now. If you're in any sort of active alliance, hitting 20,000 is really easy. Find the pride gem, little Easter egg, little mini game within the game. And if you did all this stuff, which was very, very achievable from a mid-engaged player, mid-level engaged player, you are actually going to get all these milestones. No spending, completely free to play. You're going to get the character completely unlocked very quickly, and you're going to get a bunch of resources to help you build that character up. And of course, the new Intel currency, which we're going to touch on, because I think the Intel store is the biggest win that Scopely has put into the game in a long time. We also have our legendary character. This is where we get our legendary shards. Again, really easy inputs to keep up with. They do flash events that are really, again, easy to understand, easy to keep up with, no guesswork. We have our Earn Harbinger assembled ore fragments as part of a weekly. This was easy to achieve. And same with all the monthly stuff. Very easy to achieve. And let's talk about this user interface and why the command center won me over. And it's just this go button. You hit this go button, it brings you where you need to go to perform the objective. You hit the back button, it brings you back to the screen you just left, as opposed to the main page. Seems like a small thing, but it's actually a huge quality of life improvement, and it shows that Scopely, Marvel Strike Force development team, they still have that on their brain, making the game run smoother for everybody. And these legendary unlocks definitely lean into that as well. Okay, the first month of the Quasar chapter, we got 180 shards spread out over the month. The second month, we got then the 4th and 5th stars, or the 5th and 6th star amount of shards over the month. And now in the 3rd month, they're giving us a huge cushion. Instead of giving us the 300 we need to go from 6 to 7, they're giving us 510 shards. They know that if a player started in the first month and missed those 180 Quasar shards, or missed some of them, then if they've been playing that whole month, they should reward that player in months 2 and months 3. That player will still walk away with the 7-star Quasar. And honestly, the progression of the character shards for these legendary characters, as opposed to a 1 Scourge and then it's gone, and we don't know if it's going to come back in 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, it is such a healthier mentality for the game, and I really enjoy it. But it's not just legendary characters that got a vast improvement on the release. Just all new teams are doing way better with the release method. So for all new teams, they're now implementing this new team challenge, where once you unlock one of those characters, you're going to be able to go in here and farm these resources. Resource management, by the way, has been made really easy. We just get more training materials. We get more gold. If you are only focused on the new characters, which is like the best way to progress in the game, you're going to be fine. You're going to be able to bring those characters up to the max once you reach the end game level, which you will reach faster than ever before in Marvel Strike Force. It's not just the team challenge, though. They also have these showcases they run, again, for every single new team, where we get to experience the narrative of these characters. You're going to get to experience the play of these characters. You don't even need the team unlocked for the first chapter, which always culminates in a resource orb, at least for the first 2 chapters. Whether it be gold or training materials, they're giving you the materials to play with, and they're letting you play with the team ahead of time, which is fantastic. They're also putting in these other game modes. So the Negative Zone Harbinger. Now, this is a weird one because we're currently on a leaderboard event, where we get to use all of our characters. Kind of make this a little bit easier, make this a little bit faster. But before, there was 8 nodes, and you were able to use your Vigilante or your Thunderbolt team, which are the 2 new teams, 2 new raid teams. And we really got to play with the Vigilante team, learn the Vigilante team, and just learn how awesome they are. Thunderbolts kind of went the other way, but hey, not every team is going to be the best team in the game. Otherwise, the game would be crazy, and missing 1 month would not be a fun thing. So I really like what they're doing with the new teams, and there's other stuff they've done to keep these teams fresh as well, right? So all the teams unlocked in a given chapter will be used in that Scourge event or that trial event for that legendary character. So if I want to get the red stars for Quasar, I got to build up the Vigilante team. I got to build the Thunderbolts. I got to build up the Accursed team. And then I'm able to use them in this very fresh sort of a gameplay format. It's not just use them in raids where they kind of get stale. It's not as fun. We get to experience the team in a much more enjoyable way, in my opinion. And we get to see that the Vigilante team is clearly the best team that's come out this year. Amazing. I love the Vigilante team. Besides just the events that are being released alongside these characters, which, again, these events are completely free to play completable. If you're like very new to the game, of course, you're not going to be able to do the highest difficulty. You may not be able to unlock the highest red stars for a given character, but once you reach that mid to late game, you're level 105 or even like level 100 to 105, and you're building your characters up, farming the right resources, you'll be able to keep up with all these events. It's crazy when you compare this to any other mobile game. The accessibility to events, if you're engaged, you just have it. Speaking of accessibility and engagement, the new Intel Store, what a win this Intel Store is. With this Intel Store, they put a bunch of different options for purchase here, and this new Intel currency that you get just from playing the game in all different places, you get it from War Knockouts, Crucible Knockouts, War wins, Crucible wins. You're just going to get it through the events. You saw it in the command center earlier. Comes in promo codes, comes in Twitch drops, comes everywhere. We actually got such a nice flow of it that people are actually starting to buy, not just the Gear Tier 20, not just the new, mythical Professor Unlock stuff, but people started buying character shards. People started buying these Awaken abilities. And some people even started buying these diamonds, which, by the way, I don't think is where you want to spend your Intel. It's a little bit pricey. The other stuff is just awesome. So the Intel Store has been a monumental win for me. And if you're a returning player or a new player, their convergence of all the currencies into this new shop credits has been so healthy for the game. Now, there is a little bit of concern of how new players will be getting these shop credits, but Scopely's already working on that. Scopely has catch-up mechanics on the forefront of their brain. Even for the legendary Quasar, they're already looking at how they're going to be getting that character to players who missed the chapter already. Like, Lilandra was kind of the prototype for these new characters, and Lilandra was just put on a node to be farmable, and they put her on a node that also has one of those training orbs, so shout out to Scopely for that. That was a really good change, all right? So these shop credits make it so that you can kind of just shop whatever store you want. So when you get everything you want from the raid store, you can start focusing everything you want on the arena store, the war store, the crucible store. It's just such an easier way for returning players, especially returning players. You're going to have so much of this currency, you'll be able to buy up everything that you've missed since you've returned. New players, you get to kind of pick what is best for what you're currently focusing on. You're focusing on the raid team? Well, make sure you head on over to the Crucible store, because I believe Agatha and Blade are in this store. You're missing Scientist Supreme, head on over to the raid store. You will not lack raid currency, because you're going to have this universal currency, which I really, really appreciate. But so far, all we've talked about is sort of the structure of the game. What about the gameplay itself? Well, they just released the new information on the Crucible rules. We're having a U16 Crucible tournament, and they're refreshing this, I think it's every 6 weeks. It's like a month and a half between when they're changing these Crucible rules. So the game never feels stale. I personally didn't really enjoy these Crucible rules too much. They were a little bit confusing for me. I had a hard time with them. Maybe bad luck. Let's just say it was bad luck. But I knew, hey, 6 weeks from now, this has changed. It's not going to be 6 months of the same rules like it was at the beginning of the Cosmic Crucible life cycle. So they are keeping up with things. They are maintaining the game modes amazingly. But it's not just Crucible. War is going to be getting a huge, huge overhaul. I've seen sort of the ideas they're having. I think it's going to bring a lot of people back into the fray. But also, War, if you care about War, if your alliance cares about War, participation is so key. The type of combinations you can make, both on the offensive and the defensive side, it really brings people together if you care to do it. And that's the fun part about war is when you are with your group of friends, again, if you care, it is such a bonding experience. Every time a war starts, me and all the boys and the one girl, we get into our Discord war channel. We have fun. We're laughing. We're making fun of each other. We're making fun of ourselves. Like, it's just a good time. It's not this that like isolated single player experience, and they're trying to make it even better. I'm excited for those changes. Let me know what kind of changes you would like to see come to war. I'll make sure the developers see that as well. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Battle World. Battle World was released last October, and it definitely came under hard times. But they've since made some good tweaks to it and improved it quite a bit. We're now able to. Well, first of all, it's now 48 hours for the zones, so it goes over the whole week. You can kind of do it at your own leisure. And they've made the nodes a little bit harder here and there. They tweaked them, which is nice. They tweaked the characters that you can use on the nodes, except for these elite missions, and that's great. And they've learned that by leaning into these new currencies, these new event inputs, if they put that into the Battle World store, it helps improve engagement on that. And then your alliance just kind of does better, push a higher difficulties, and of course, unlock the symbiote god Null, who's such a phenomenal character. And now we're 3 short months away from the next Battle World, Battle World 2, which I've seen some of the changes they're looking at. I think it's gonna hit where it needed to hit before. So I'm really excited about Battle World. I'm really excited about September Battle World because they're putting a lot of effort into making these PvE game modes more exciting, more enticing. And the proof is in the pudding. Look, the new Danger Room game mode is amazing. So the new Danger Room game mode is this rogue-like mode where, let me go ahead and start a new run. All right, here we are on a new run, and we can see our interface here is very familiar. We know how to play around with this. We can earn these danger tokens by playing the game, equip these new rules, and it changes the gameplay in the game. Once we start, we're going to get to choose from characters that are new. So once again, leaning into using these new characters, which increases sort of the fun of chasing them during the chapter. So let me go ahead. And they let us choose some standalone characters that they do really interesting tie-ins. So they revitalize a character like Ghost Rider and Blade. I mean, Blade's not revitalized. He's still an amazing character. Let's go ahead and bring them in. And the cool thing about Danger Room, and what I think they're going to be doing to Battle World, is they're flipping the gameplay on its head. Don't get me wrong. I love our gameplay. It brings me back to when I was a kid, playing PlayStation in the loft with my friend, making decisions, making sure we're not getting covered in debuffs, we're protecting ourselves, we're using potions, we're beating the boss, we're enjoying the story. I love that. But Marvel Strike Force has so much potential to do so much else as far as gameplay mechanics go, and they're starting to lean into that, which I think is awesome. So we see here, our Ghost Rider gets extra power, our Blade is obviously awesome, he gets extra power too, and we only have 2 characters. So how are we going to get more characters? Well, as we beat enemies, we'll unlock different nodes. We'll be able to get different characters in between fights. We're going to be getting these new power-ups that we're going to get to use to increase our team's potential and what they can do. Let's see what we're going to get right here. We'll claim it. Oh, and now our crit supply bleed. Or on spawn we'll get barrier. On spawn we'll get 3 regeneration. And it gets so much more interesting than this. This is just a regular node. We'll do elite nodes. It goes crazy. So the Danger Room has been an amazing benefit to the game, and they are leaning heavy into Danger Room. So in the month of July, we are actually going to be getting 3 Danger Rooms, and it's not just new characters. On the 4th of July, we are going to be getting a X-Men themed Danger Room, where it's going to revitalize all our old X-Men characters. We're going to have to play with them. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So as far as gameplay goes, like Marvel Strike Force is doing phenomenal right now, and they show that they care to put out more PvE content, make it more interesting, do more game modes, get experimental, have fun with it. And that's new. That's new, and that's for all players, all of players. You do not need to be an endgame player to enjoy Danger Room at all. You don't even need to be an endgame player to max out Danger Room. I know somebody who is 3 months into the game, they did difficulty 10 with the rental characters, because you don't even need to use your own characters, which I think is really cool. So gameplay, they're hitting on all cylinders, but it's not just gameplay, and it's not just structure of the game. The community, I think, is buzzing. We are getting such great involvement from the new Strike Fox community manager and Pathfinder. The communication in the game and sort of the fun mini games they're doing with the community is awesome. Right now, Strike Fox has a new community challenge in progress. You click here. I already did it, but they're just counting. They're just counting. And when they count enough, there's going to be rewards for it. So let's go back to the events. And once the community does these little mini games and they have questionnaires and trivia and find the pride gems, everything like that, they give us these promo codes. So we're getting resources from all over the place. We're having community engagement. They started with Twitch drops. We have these content creator crucible tournaments that they give a whole bunch of rewards out. You get to see all the content creators go head to head and they have a lot of fun. But more importantly than all of that, the lines of communication with the developers are more open than they've ever been in the past. The Marvel Strike Force YouTube channel has uploaded more in the past like 3 months than I think it did in the entire 2 years of the Professor X and the Age of Mephisto. They like right just 3 days ago, we had a strike spot where Pathfinder and Ricardo, one of the game developers, went over the Fantastic Four team that's coming this patch. So they're getting us hyped. They're telling us about everything that's coming. We're getting these character spotlights. And what I think is a huge sign that the game is healthier than it's ever been, we're getting new cinematics. We're getting goofy new little cinematics. We got a Howard the Duck cinematic. We had a Thunderbolt cinematic. Like, the game is in a really good spot, in my opinion. That's what I got to share with you today. I'm actually going to go play the game right now because I'm still loving Marvel Strike Force. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think about Marvel Strike Force right now. Did you stop playing Marvel Strike Force? Do you want to come play it again after I just showed you Danger Room? Because you should. It's super, super fun. But yeah, guys, I want to know all your thoughts in the comment section below so I can share that with developers. What do you really like they're doing right now, Marvel Strike Force? What would you like to see improved? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. I hope you have a fantastic day. But for now, bye-bye.